Joining me now is a 7-2 amateur light heavyweight, the freight train, Gabe Rednose on the show. Gabe, how you doing?
Good, man. How's it going? Thank you guys for having me.
Hey, it's my pleasure. I'm excited to have you on, and I want to talk about your most recent fight. You fought for Team USA in Mexico at the Pan American Championship. You got the silver medal there. However, you did lose to Aaron Rios in the first round via knee bar. What happened there? Is there a takeaway maybe that you learned from that fight?
Yeah, it's all a learning process right now. Week 3 of this camp, I was training out in California with Joe Stevenson at Cobra Kai, and we were working some wall drills and like getting off the wall, shooting takedowns into the wall, basically just using the fence and everything. And my knee popped pretty good, so I injured it. I originally injured it week 3. And we just said it's not going to MRI. Let's just keep pushing. Pans is right around the corner, so we can just get it taken care of after. And then getting caught in a knee bar, didn't help it very much either. Went and got my MRI after I got back from Pans, torn MCL and torn meniscus. So I have surgery on the 20th, and then hopefully 8 weeks or so I'll be back to normal.
Could you feel that when you were competing? Like, did your knee just not feel close to 100%?
Oh, yeah. It affected me. I mean, I'm not going to say that's why I lost, because kudos to Aaron. He played his game and he got me right where he wanted me and caught me where I was vulnerable. So I'm not taking anything away from him at all. But my knee was not 100% for sure. It was really unstable. Like even carrying my son like downstairs and stuff, I knew like my knee wasn't 100%. I kind of had to baby it my last 4 weeks or so in my camp, 4 or 5 weeks. Last 4 or 5 weeks in my camp, I had to baby it a little bit. Just like bending motions and, like taking my shots, for example. So I had to switch my game plan a little bit. Instead of blast doubles, I had to just switch to more of like snatch singles, so I didn't have to, level change as much.
Sure. Maybe this is reaching here, but I'm just trying to listen to what you're saying and go off of that a little bit. But do you feel like, based on the fact that you were hampered, that maybe your opponent picked up on that a little bit? Maybe he knew that you were favoring your knee?
Well, before I walked out for my first fight at the tournament, it says in the rule book you can wear neoprene knee sleeves. You just can't wear any type of sleeve that has metal in it. And I thought, okay, well, that's perfect, because I have 2 neoprene sleeves right here that I'm going to wear. And as I was walking out to my first fight, they go up by, they do the fights by weight class. So all the light heavyweights gather up together, and then they each go out and do however the bracket sets. So I'm all ready. I got my gloves on, mouthpiece in, about to walk out for my fight. And the staff stops me in front of everyone, and they announce it over the microphone. Hey, he's not allowed to wear those knee braces, blah, blah, blah. So everyone kind of, was staring at me and everything. They made me take it all off in front of everyone right before I walked out. So I'm thinking maybe he didn't game plan that, but maybe he did pick up on it. I don't know. But either way, whether my knee was hurt or not, I mean, kudos to him, because it was a good setup. So not taking anything away from him.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Well, I wanted to ask you what that cut is like for you to get to 205. I saw on your Instagram you standing next to UFC heavyweight Jared Vanderaa, so I know you've been getting work in with that mountain of a man, and that's his nickname, the Mountain. So you're a pretty big guy. How heavy do you typically get?
So in 2018, I made my debut. I fought at heavyweight my entire career besides one fight. Well, 3 fights now. 2018, I made my debut. I think I had 4 or 5 fights in 2019. And then we got pregnant with my daughter. And so I took some time off so my daughter could be born. And then 18 months later, my son was born. So, it kind of hit us back to back. So I'm coming off of a 2-year layoff. And this year was my first year back in the cage in February of this year. But I got up to 293 pounds. And, that's just from, becoming a dad, learning, everything's not always going to go as planned. And, eating sloppy food, just not being as good as I should have been in the kitchen and in the weight room. And, it caught up to me. So I was 293 pounds, and I just looked in the mirror one day and I was like, man, this has to go. This isn't me. I've always been a big guy, but I've never been 300 pounds. And from then on, I started a fast. I did a 10-day fast. I lost 20 pounds in 10 days. And I just started a lifestyle change in the kitchen to where no matter what I was putting in my body, it had to do something for me fuel wise. So I just cleaned up my eating habits, and I got down to, I did a jiu-jitsu tournament at 220 just to give myself like a limit I needed to meet by a certain date. Got down to 220 relatively easily. And then I just said, well, I'm already down this low. Let's just take a fight at 205. What originally happened was I was supposed to fight May 14th here in Oklahoma, and that fight got canceled. And a guy out of Arkansas, his name is Joe Phoebus for Northwest Fighting Alliance. I've never heard of him, never fought for him before, reached out to me and said, hey, I have a title fight in 2 weeks. We can't find anyone to fight this guy. He's undefeated. Would you want the opportunity to fight for our light heavyweight title? I said, sure. I was already getting ready for this May 14th fight, and this was a month later, so it just worked out perfectly. Ended up going over to Arkansas. I got the stoppage round 1, TKO, and just so happened Joe Stevenson was one of the judges there, and he's the head coach of the USA team, so everything just worked out.
That's fantastic, man. Yeah, it's funny how things do work out. I want to backtrack for a second. You talk about a 10-day fast. Wow, I've fasted before, and man, I get 24 hours and I start getting super cranky. So what was it that you tell me a little bit more about this, man? Like what did you put in your body for those 10 days?
So it was the brand was Massive, MASF supplements, and they just sent you like a fasting package, and it came with everything in this package you could take within those 10 days. So it had like protein powder, this green shake powder. Those are your two main things. And it had like BCAAs, multivitamins, stuff like that. But I really buckled down on the first 7 days. I did 2 green shakes a day and then 1 protein shake a day. And it got so bad, man, that I was gagging when I was drinking those green shakes. So the last 3 days, I just went cold turkey and did nothing, just straight water for the last 3 days of the fast. And but I was doing it more for, I needed to lose some weight, but I was doing it more for mental side of things. Mentally, I needed to get the person I was in 2019. I needed to get that mindset back to where I needed to be, because I knew if I got my mindset back, everything else would come with it. So I was really just making myself, breaking that inner self of saying, oh, you can't do this, blah, blah, blah. I just made myself, bite down and get through the 10 days. And once I accomplished that, I knew mentally I could, bite down and lose that weight.
I love it, man. That's a great story. What are you walking around at today? Like what do you weigh right now?
So after Pans, I actually just meal prepped my first meal prep to get back on my diet since Pans. So I've been off for about a week and a half or so. Just eating whatever. I won't lie to you. I enjoyed a couple Cokes. Just ate whatever with my kids, enjoyed this last week and a half or two. I'm about 217.
Wow. Okay. Well, you're still super lean, man. I mean, for a big guy like yourself, that's a healthy weight to be at. And you're 7-2 as an amateur fighter right now. All 7 of your wins are finishes, man. So you look really, really dangerous here. What's the plan as far as turning pro eventually?
So I don't think I'm going to take any more local amateur fights. I'm just focusing on the international level now. I'm going to focus on the world tournament in Abu Dhabi coming up. I think top 3 placers from each regional qualifier get invited to that tournament. So gonna get surgery on the 20th, get healed up. I think it takes, she said, 6 to 8 weeks. I'll bite down with my recovery. I'll get my knee healed up, and then it's time to go get ready for the world tournament. And then that'll be my last amateur run. And then win or lose or draw, I'm going pro after that no matter what. and I'm gonna start getting paid hopefully.
Are you going to be making the trip out to California to train with Jared and Joe Stevenson and those guys more often?
That's the plan. I believe I'm going to try to take 6-week camps at a time to go out there and uh, get working with those guys.
Do they have a place to like set you up? What is that like? I mean, I have to imagine they would if you're going to be out there for that long.
Yeah, so I live with my striking coach, Coach Luis. He has a 2-bedroom apartment, and no one lives with him. So he said, "Hey, man, you're more than welcome whenever you come here. You're more than welcome just to stay with me, and I'll drive you to practice or wherever we need to do to make sure you're getting the best work possible." So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll drive to practice with Coach Luis. And then on the other days, Joe picks me up in the mornings, and we cross train Monday and Wednesdays at Dan Henderson's gym in Temecula. So it's an hour and a half drive from Victorville, Cobra Kai, where I normally train. On Monday and Wednesdays, we go over to Dan Henderson's gym, and that's where Jared and all those guys are.
Okay. What is it like being around Jared and Dan Henderson and Joe Stevenson? I mean, that's pretty cool. You're around some high level, very well known fighters. What is that like for your mentality?
It's great. They've either done it or they're doing it right now, so they know what it takes. And just sitting back, and if I'm training with those guys or not, even if I'm just as a spectator, just watching everything those guys do, I'm taking notes of everything they're doing and how they're warming up and how they're training, and I just take that to try to apply it to my game as best as possible.
When you look at the fighters that are at the highest level right now, the UFC, Bellator, PFL, ONE, everywhere out there, is there a fighter that you could say that your style is similar to, someone that you feel like that your fighting style almost emulates in a few ways?
I'd say maybe Daniel Cormier, but a little bit more submissions. I like my takedowns, obviously, and I like using my strikes to set up my submissions, or using my submissions to set up my strikes. For sure, I would rather grapple, but I haven't really got to show my hands off yet in any of my fights, so I'm kind of keeping that in my back pocket as well.
Okay, Daniel Cormier, one of the greatest to ever do it. That's a pretty darn good person to compare yourself to. So as far as you talking about going pro soon, like I have to imagine your goal is to be in the UFC, right? So like forecast this for me. When do you feel like that will come?
Well, it's not so much UFC. I could care less really where I fight, man. I just want to get paid for my family. So, but I could care less about the promotion. I mean, obviously it'd be awesome to fight in the UFC one day. But I'm just worried about getting paid. I want to get paid the best I can for my family and my kids here at home. So whatever I need to do, I'll do it. I don't want to say when, or I don't want to give myself like a time frame. I just know that I'll be biting down, and the work will be for sure put in. So whenever the call does come, if it does come, I'll be ready.
What are you doing right now to get paid? I'm sure you have a job of some sort that's bringing in some income.
Yep, I work for a casino here in Oklahoma, and I am in charge of all of the cable infrastructure for all 5 of our casinos. I'm in the IT department.
Oh, very cool. All right. So that job isn't going anywhere. That's important for the casino. How busy do you guys get?
Pretty busy. I work every day, Monday through Friday, minimum 40 hours a week and more if I want it.
And so with your family, your kids, and your job and your training, man, you got a busy schedule.
100%. Yep. Full-time dad, full-time job, and trying to train some as well. It gets hard.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, you have surgery around the corner. Healing up from that will be your number one priority. And then the in Abu Dhabi, November, is the IMMAF World Tournament. So that's when we can expect to see you back in action, that time frame.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. Gabe, it's a pleasure to interview you for the first time, man. After doing a little bit of research and seeing your background, you're someone that I feel the MMA fans out there really need to keep their eye on. So I appreciate you coming on and joining me today. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. Please tell people where they can follow you on social media And if you have any sponsors, anyone to thank, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you. My Instagram is gred58, and I have a fight page on Facebook. It's Gabe the Freight Train Rednose, or my regular Facebook is just Gabe Rednose. Here's all my sponsors I'd like to thank. Means a lot. They all help me out quite a bit. And I want to thank you for having me on the show, man. It means a lot that you gave me this opportunity to talk to you some.
It is my pleasure, my man. I appreciate it, and let me know once you're back in action and ready to fight again, and we'll chop it up again later this year.
Sounds great, man. Thank you for the opportunity.